zone. It is juggled around. It's still loose. And it is. Who's got it? Who's got it?
Come on, Ref.
Isaiah Horton comes away with it. Did he get
got the ball.
Did he get it? Touchdown. They're going to rule it a touchdown. They're going to rule it a touchdown.
What?
They're going to say Virginia Tech's got a touchdown, and they won the game. Anguish and agony for Miami.
Both teams back to the bench. The game is not over.
They're going to say Felton caught.
The bench, please. The game is not over. The previous play.
It's going to come down to a review.
Both teams back to the bench, please.
They're going to say the 6'5" Felton caught. So it all comes down to this.
Ruling on the field. The receiver had possession of the ball. It came down, inbounds in the end zone. The result of the play is a touchdown. The previous play was under further review.
Virginia Tech runs off the sidelines, but it's not over yet. It's under review. It's under review.
After further review, the ruling on the field is reversed. It's an incomplete pass.
A winning moment for the University of Miami. And the crowd is going absolutely wild with joy, jubilation, and relief as the lid has come off of Hard Rock Stadium. Absolute jubilation for Miami and devastation for the Virginia Tech Hokies, who just got a spear through their heart and played a magnificent game.
Gamut of emotions, as you can tell. The ending of that Miami Hurricanes Virginia Tech game on Friday night. A lot of nervousness, a lot of unknowing, a lot of question marks, tense moments. Nonetheless, the Miami Hurricanes come away with what we're going to say is a big win. Well, it's a big win. They got their first ACC win of the season. They remain undefeated on this season. They get a home win in front of national audience. Whew, what a game right there. Vlad, you were in the building. 38-34. Did anyone know what was going on that last play? No.
Yeah. They thought that he caught the ball. Then after replays were shown of every angle, then we started to say that maybe he landed out of bounds because there was a gentleman that was out of bounds, so he's landed out of bounds. But he did catch the ball. Like, there was no denying he caught the ball. That game was more of a, you just, wipe the sweat off your head and be like, thank God we survived. I think we all figured we would drop down in the rankings, but we were like, let's just wait to see what happened Saturday. And thank God we did, because Saturday there was some upsets and some classic games. So it's good to get this one out the way. You didn't play your great defensively. This was their worst game defensively all season. Worst game defensively, and you saw holes. You saw holes. You saw holes on the with the team that it's like, oh, this was because you did not expect Virginia Tech to just be running up and down on Miami. They were just doing the same play over and over. And I didn't realize that was Cam Ward's cousin, I believe. That's the quarterback of Virginia Tech. So he's a hell of a player. But relief. Yeah. Relief that they won.
Yeah, happiness.
Happiness, obviously. But you don't want to here's the thing. You can't underestimate anyone now.
Yeah, no, I'm not freaked out at all. Number one, it's an ACC opponent. It's a team that was supposed to be good in the ACC. There's going to be games like this in any season. So why not get tested? You get tested at home. You get the win in whatever dramatic fashion. On to the next one.
And I can't do that. I can't do that, Dan. I can't, because here's the thing. Your offense scored 38 points. You gave up
34. Almost 40.
That's a lot of points you gave up. And,
yeah.
And that offense, that Virginia Tech offense, is not high-powered as other offenses you may face.
Right. But the other thing is like, how could you be an 19.5 point favorite and barely win? I don't care what some mathematician in Vegas says.
I'm not worried about that. And,
I don't care.
I know people that took the caves. Then I'm not worried about that. It's just when you see the product, what you saw on Friday night, you saw holes. You saw that they were just going right up. They were just throwing down the middle. It was the same plays. That was the frustrating thing.
Yeah.
It was the same plays over and over. They weren't going to beat Miami over the top. It was just the same plays.
I'm not worried. It's one of those games. You're going to have games like that in a long season. What's encouraging is that you found a way to win. You found a way to score enough points. You found a way to quote unquote get a stop at the very end of the game, and you won. And you know it's an ACC game. It's Virginia Tech. It's all the lights are on you. It's the high ranking. It's all the expectations. You still go out there and you win. Once again, I always say you're not as good as your best game. You're not as bad as your worst game. You'll probably see a different type of Miami team against Cal, 10:30 Saturday night. It's going to be interesting. Cal's one of those teams. Don't get too high, don't get too low on them. They beat Auburn, but then, they've come out and they've thrown up a couple of not so great games. So they go into Auburn and beat Auburn 21-14. And then the other day they get beat by Florida State, who we know is terrible, 14-9. That's not good.
And then Florida State lost to SMU last night.
Bad. That was a bad loss. The ACC did make a statement on the game. They said during the review process of the last play of the Virginia Tech at Miami game, it was determined that the loose ball was touched by a Miami player while he was out of bounds, which means it's an incomplete pass and immediately ends the play. Is that an optimistic sign, though? 9 out of 10 times, these calls go against the U. This time, the call goes for the U. Maybe there's something cooking this season. Cam Ward, he threw some interceptions. Nonetheless, still had a lot of yards.
What? How many interceptions? Did he had? Two, and he fumbled the ball.
Yes, sir.
3 turnovers. That's not good, but he has 5 touchdowns.
Still had a lot of yards and still had enough points in the offense to win the game, 38-34. I'm cool with it. You have games like this, regroup, and on to Cal. That 10:30 kickoff. That's a tricky wicket again. These are one of those. That's one of the games that we said, watch out. Got to go all the way across the country.
Cal's a good team.
Cal's a decent team. They lost to Florida State, but they did beat Auburn at Auburn. It's the time change. It's the travel. It's an ACC game. But hey, you survived 1 week against Virginia Tech. Now you kind of have, you beat some teams that were maybe less than you. Virginia Tech maybe more on your level. Now you kind of see where you're at and you can go from there. 10:30 Saturday night, we shall see.